It's very nice to meet you. Why don't you take a seat? Would you like any water, coffee, tea, or drinks at all? Okay, I understand. Feel free to sit back and relax. This session will be brief and is only a way for me to understand the current situation, but we can go for much longer after this if you are still comfortable. So, I understand that you are here today because you still have not won any crowns. That's okay. That's okay. Why don't you tell me how you feel about it? Okay. Yes. Now, don't be alarmed. I'm just going to take notes. This is very important for me. Every client of mine has a different problem or situation that we must figure out. And I want to first reassure you that you're definitely not alone. And there is no need for any despair. But we'll figure it out together, okay? We will work through this. So, can you kindly repeat to me how you feel currently about this game and your experience so far? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes, yes. I understand. Keep going. Yes, you have a point. Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I understand. No, it's totally valid. Totally valid. Do not discount those feelings. Those are very good. Yes, yes, yes. I see. Okay. So, let me provide to you some input that would hopefully, help you understand your situation as well. Now, the goal of this therapy is to not just, help you cope with the fact of not having a crown yet, but also a way to hopefully help you achieve that crown. Now, as you know, this is a very different type of therapy, and it is likely why it's one of the most popular and pioneering, I'd say, methods in terms of conquering this game. So we'll go through your points one by one, and I will provide potential suggestions. And mind you, these suggestions do not come from me totally. These also come from victims of this game. Victims who have thankfully finally achieved their first crown. Now, some of them have moved on to a different game. Others, well, they remain in order to help folks like you to achieve their first victory. So, let's begin. First of all, I need you to understand that there are currently 16 million players in the PlayStation 4 platform alone. As in 16 million Fall Guys players. That's 16 million people. Now, you need to understand that you are playing with 60 people every time. And you have to go through a lot in order to match up with these 16 million if you are playing on PlayStation. And so, the chances of getting a crown really is significantly more difficult. The more people play, the harder your chances of winning. And that's just the PlayStation platform alone. I don't have the numbers yet for Steam, but hopefully they will provide it soon. Or maybe I'm just blind and I don't look at Twitter so often. But you should know. It can take you days, hours, weeks. See, for example, the situation of this very hardworking and persevering streamer. You've seen Tim the Tatman, right? Yes. Oh, he's the reason why you're here. Oh, you think because he has it and you don't have it that... I see. No, I don't think so. I think it depends, right? Obviously, he has been playing for how many hours, and he has made it an entire spectacle. And so he must work harder to actually achieve that crown. And you, my friend, we don't have millions of viewers. We don't need to put that pressure on us. Unless you actually are a streamer. In which case, I wonder why you're not looking for an actual therapist instead. But anyways, I digress. Now, in terms of team games, and I think this is the biggest factor in many lost crowns. A team game is very difficult to win. However, I have seen miracles happen. Even the yellow team wins from time to time, you know? It is a matter, I think, of better understanding your team and figuring out their strengths and weaknesses. Not unless that team really is stupid, in which case I do not blame you for leaving. And the good thing about leaving is you barely feel the pain of losing points or whatnot. In fact, I feel like you would even save more time by just forgetting about it. I have patients who leave the moment they know, they figure out that they have been put into the yellow team. I know, it's so sad, but it is what's needed. Now, these team games, sometimes you need to just take a step backwards and understand your situation. Now, if you have a team who's very strong at offense, perhaps you need some help on the defense side. Have you seen how many comebacks you can have with playing volleyball? There's actually a trick there, I don't know if you know. But if you stand in the middle of a ball that's falling, for example, one of the team or your team, hopefully, has scored. A good idea would be to stand in the middle, wait for the next ball, and out-jump your opponent. I've seen it work many times. It's all over YouTube. I don't understand how you don't know this. But yes, if the team is weak in defense, I'm afraid to tell you that you might have to stay back at the goal and be the best goalkeeper that you can be. word of advice: wait for the other team to jump and push the ball before you do it, because there's a little bit of a cooldown that you must remember, and you get a bit more momentum pushing it backwards. Yes. Yes, I wish the world knew about this too. More importantly, those who get put into the yellow team. I don't know. I don't know why they don't know it either. But you see, at the very least, you should understand that we all share almost the same frustrations. Now, let's talk about your other issue. The tail games. I understand. Probably one of the most unstable games ever. See, keeping your tail is one thing, but grabbing a tail is another, don't you think? You'll be surprised to know that while the both of us may not be very good at grabbing tails, it could be the opposite for others. You just have to find them in the game. It's a very short period of time, but you just have to be a little more aware. Trust me when I say I still cannot figure out how the fuck do you dive and grab a tail at the same time. Now, I've done a little bit more research on this, and I'm slowly becoming convinced that it could be a latency issue. I mean, we don't know who we're paired with, right? We don't know which servers we're coming from. So, I won't entirely blame you if you are not able to grab a tail. Perhaps you should upgrade your internet connection, though. Yes. Either upgrade your internet connection or get a better controller. Oh, you poor thing. You play with a keyboard and mouse. Oh dear. Yes, I think you must absolutely fix that. I don't know if anyone who has succeeded who has used a keyboard and mouse. Not unless you are a tryharder, in which case I suggest that you seek a higher level of therapy. But yes, use a controller. It might help. In fact, I will help you later on with a little bit of an exercise that you might want to start with every time you play Fall Guys. Yes, but going back, let's discuss your next point. You say that while you can reach the finals, you always get outplayed. My friend, I'm sorry to tell you, but this is something that really just requires 50% of skill and 50% of luck. Yes, this is not that Fort Minor rap song. It's not 5% luck. Unfortunately, it's actually 50% luck. I mean, take for example. Now, I don't have the numbers, but if you play on Full Mountain, chances are if you get assigned to the back, you're not going to win. So I suggest you use that exercise of you, if you end up in the back, you use that exercise to train yourself on that map. Be aware of where those balls are falling. Now, another thing to note: if you are playing in that hex game, understand that you are playing with a lot more players, and some of them will have what we call high IQ plays. Others are just very, very lucky to be there. Now, you have two ways. The first is doing that little hop thing instead of running around. But not to say that running around in circles is also not a valid tactic. In fact, sometimes life just has us running around in circles, and so, Fall Guys could just be a metaphor in life. And sometimes we just need to think about that, internalize that, and use that as a way to strive forward. Now, I'm going back to the discussion. That X game. My suggestion is, again, do not fret. Try hard, just this once. Try hard. And whatever you do, if you fall, pray to whoever God you pray to that you don't fall several levels below because you happen to fall into a hole with several holes and several levels. Because if that's the case, my friend, it's just a matter of not being lucky. And again, that's okay. The sooner we accept that sometimes we're not lucky, the better it is for all of us. Which leaves me to my last point. Now, you mentioned that you always get pissed off because sometimes there are just assholes out there who just grab you at the perfect timing, making you fall and lose and whatnot. May I suggest you a very controversial topic or a controversial tip? Become the asshole. Yes, say it with me now. Become the asshole. Become the asshole. Very difficult thing to understand, but see, much like Fall Guys, for the most part, in life, for some reason, sometimes the assholes just win. I know it sucks. But see, the more you think that Fall Guys is like real life, the more you become attuned to it. Because what do you do to outplay assholes? Well, sometimes you leave it up to karma. Or if you're religious, you leave it up to whoever you worship. But see, my friend, sometimes assholes need to be taught a lesson. And how do we outplay the assholes? Say it with me. Become the asshole. Yes, yes, yes. It is a difficult thing to take, but understand that there are no consequences to being an asshole in Fall Guys. Yes, yes, it is the truth. It is the unfortunate truth that even in a game like Fall Guys, sometimes the assholes win. And sometimes we must become who we hate. But look at it this way. At least in this situation, perhaps the ends justify the means. So the next time you see a fucking pigeon or any aviary jelly bean and they're doing the bitchiest things, take a deep breath. Move forward and push that motherfucker down. Hold that motherfucker down until he cannot move and he loses. And if you absolutely must, take that son of a bitch bird with you. It's quite satisfying. Trust me. I've seen it happen many, many times. No, no. See, we can be assholes, but the one thing we will not do is cheat the system. No, that's for billionaires. And similarly in Fall Guys, the cheaters are always on top. But thankfully, in Fall Guys, even the little guys can win. And that's what you should take comfort on as well. No, we will not be cheaters. We will not exploit the system. We will not game the system. We will do it fairly. And yes, I said we should be assholes. But I'm not saying you should be a criminal. No, no. That'll only hurt your self-esteem more. Can you imagine the shame of getting a crown just because you figured out how to fly permanently in the game? Or you figured out how to be Speedy Gonzalez? Yeah. Don't cheat. You can be an asshole, you can be a dickwad, you can be a bitch. But at the end of the day, it will feel so much better if you win that crown without cheating. Do you feel better? It's okay. Winning in Fall Guys and coping with Fall Guys is a long process. It could be traumatic for some. But we will get through this. So now let's address finally your inability to realize that you really should play with a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse. Yes, I have with me a controller. Now, this is your partner, your weapon, your life force. The one thing that I realize with many Fall Guys players is they tend to throw their controller away when they are angry. Now, I hope you're not like this, or I hope you don't become like this. Remember that your controller, again, is your partner. Damaging your partner will only mean damaging your chances. So, when you come back home and you turn on Steam and you select Fall Guys and press play, or you can do it on your PS4, whichever floats your boat, do one thing for me. Hold the controller in your hands and say, I am one with my controller. I am one with my controller. I am one with my controller. Now, remember to also breathe when you are doing this. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the energy rise up. Feel your confidence rise. Yes, yes. Because you may not win a crown after this session or after the next session, but always remember, you and your controller will still be one step closer to achieving that crown. And once you also take into account the metaphors that Fall Guys is showing us, the metaphors of life, you will come to understand that at the very least, you may not be winning in life, but you're still one step closer to winning this goddamn game. So hold your controller close. Caress it if you want to. treat it as a lover, your partner in crime, the one that will take you to victory. Press the buttons. Feel it. Just listen to it sing as you stretch and move its triggers and these directional toggles, the buttons, the D-pad. Doesn't matter what type of controller you're using, just make it feel nice and special. And claim your victory, but most importantly, claim your improvement. You've got this. You will not be the last loser in Fall Guys. Eventually, you will find your victory. Eventually, you will be grouped with 60 human beings, 60 jelly beans, who are just far dumber and far unluckier than you are. It's just a matter of time. Yes, it is just a matter of time. Now, speaking of time, I believe we are done with this session. And I hope that you're feeling better and more determined. And that you try out some of the tips that I just shared. You may be already aware of them, but I'm just letting you know. Now, if you are interested, I invite you to send me another message. And hopefully, we will have more time to dissect and understand what could be causing your losses. Now, if there's a chance that you win after listening or having this session, come back to me and tell me what you've learned and what you've done new, so that I can share your wisdom to my next client. Now, with that, I will let you go, and I wish you the best of luck. And remember, fuck those fucking birds.